But from a strategic standpoint, how significant is it that Kherson is back in Ukrainian hands?
It is significant from a morale perspective for the Ukrainian armed forces. The writing has been on the wall for that Russian group of forces on the west bank of the river since about July or August. It was an untenable position for them to hold. The Ukrainians had attacked multiple bridges for them to get supplies in and out. So in some ways, Russia had two terrible choices before it: stay and be encircled, captured, which would have been a catastrophe, or the embarrassing political decision to have a controlled retreat.
Talk about the importance of Kherson's location, specifically where it is located close to Crimea, for both Russians and Ukrainians.
Well, there's two issues at play now that Russia has evacuated from that area. It basically signals the end of their ambitions to control most of Ukraine's coast in the Black Sea. And secondly, now what Russia's preparing to do is create defensive positions, trenches on the eastern side of the river to defend itself in Crimea from HIMARS attacks or continued Ukrainian advancement. Crimea is really a concern now, I would think.
How significant is what this retreat looked like and how Russia conducted it? Because if you compare it to what we saw earlier, I believe that was in September, after that surprise counteroffensive in the northeast by the Ukrainians, where we saw the Russians retreat from Liman, they lost a lot of their military equipment, not to mention their ammunition and their soldiers at that. What are you seeing here?
I'm seeing two different things. So with that, up in Kharkiv, that would be accurately described as a rout. Ukrainian forces pressed on Russian units that were under strength, not particularly highest readiness units. And when they encountered Ukrainians in combat situations, they simply fled. It was a panicked retreat. They abandoned equipment, munitions. It was really quite in a panic sort of egress situation. I would contrast that to what's going on, or what just recently concluded in Kharkiv. That was something that was controlled. Units were falling back into pre-prepared positions. They were doing it slowly over time. I think it's been in process for about 3 or 4 weeks at minimum. So it is a retreat, but you didn't see these large-scale battles. You didn't see a massive loss of Russian soldiers. It really was not a panicked withdrawal. It was hasty, but not panicked.